Like any kind of speech, sexy talk is amazing because it can create an experience in your mind that isn't necessarily happening in an actual physical act. When it comes to sex, we are way too obsessed with the acts because the act sells. You gotta buy costumes and toys and porn and so on and so forth. You gotta sit in your house, masturbating alone, thinking about how your partner won't blah blah blah. Self-loathing yourself for feeling that way and then buying shit to try and feel better. But sexy talk is free. Sexy talk can bring any experience you would like to have in the whole world right into your brain so you can enjoy all of the sensations and titillations without ever having to spend $1 or open a butt crack. And all you need is a sex vocabulary, a little bit of courage to talk about it, and your big, beautiful imagination.
Some people aren't going to like you. I remember thinking like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to stand up in front of an audience and be like, I command you to whatever.
Oh, well, you had to be there. No, I didn't, because that's why we invented stories. So I, in fact, didn't gotta be there.
What's up, rhetoric nerds? Welcome back to Rhetorically Speaking, a podcast committed to banishing banality one speech at a time. I am your hostess with the mostest, rhetoric professor Lee Pierce, she/they pronouns, loather of cliches, and lover of... Oh my god, we're about to get into it today. Lover of talking dirty and talking about talking dirty. So in honor of National Sex Education Day on February 2nd, let me educate you about some sex stuff, like talking dirty and talking about talking dirty, the no cliche, rhetorically speaking way. Apparently, I'm in the mood to rhyme today. Now, not everyone likes the descriptor dirty talk. It can seem belittling and patriarchal and threatening. If those things turn you on, do you. But if they don't, call it something else, like sexy talk. That's nice and non-threatening. I call it explicit talk because that's what it is. Unfortunately, that description not very sexy. Before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit about who this episode is for. It is for people who are excited about the idea of dirty talk or sexy talk or explicit talk, but have no idea how to start or aren't sure if their partner is receptive or have had a bad experience or been turned off by stereotypes in the media. It is for people whose sex life has maybe gotten stale, but role-playing and expensive toys and one-size-fits-all costumes that do not fit anybody seems overwhelming, expensive, and just like a lot of work. It's for people who have fantasies about different sex acts, doing it in the butt, group sex, being ravaged by a sexy androgynous pirate, but don't necessarily want to do the actual sex acts. Maybe group sex is a hot fantasy, but in reality terrifying and very unsafe. Maybe you have hemorrhoids and butt sex is just like off the table. Maybe you don't have access to a pirate, let alone a sexy one. Like any kind of speech, sexy talk is amazing because it can create an experience in your mind that isn't necessarily happening in an actual physical act. When it comes to sex, we are way too obsessed with the acts because the act sells. You gotta buy costumes and toys and porn and so on and so forth. You gotta sit in your house, masturbating alone, thinking about how your partner won't blah blah blah. Self-loathing yourself for feeling that way and then buying shit to try and feel better. But sexy talk is free. Sexy talk can bring any experience you would like to have in the whole world right into your brain so you can enjoy all of the sensations and titillations without ever having to spend $1 or open a butt crack. And all you need is a sex vocabulary, a little bit of courage to talk about it, and your big, beautiful imagination. I sort of feel like I'm in like Willy Wonka and the Sex Factory, like, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Anyway, so the more you let yourself imagine crazy sex scenarios and different sex acts, but not need to do them to be satisfied, the more you loosen your repressive bonds. Let's take the being ravaged by a hot pirate scenario. You notice I said ravaged. You may have heard the term RAPE fantasy. I don't use the label RAPE fantasy because I don't believe you can fantasize about an experience that is a fundamental violation of your personhood. It's a paradox. But I do believe you can have ravaged fantasies. When I tell people that, they often feel so much better because they felt like gross and guilty and fucked up when the only label they had is a word that I try to not even say out loud. That's why I spell it. But then they get introduced to this concept of ravaged fantasy, which conjures like long-haired, beautiful people on the cover of Harlequin romance novels I used to sneak read at my grandma's house. And then you too can have your cake and eat it too. Out of the tight pink asshole of a beautiful pirate captain, while she moans softly and drips with pleasure. Now, I'm sure you had a very specific reaction to that sentence. It's important we open a dialogue here. You could be feeling a few things. You could be feeling just straight disbelief that I even said that, but it's episode 19. We gotta be past that by now. You might be feeling upset, genuinely upset. If that's the case, I would pause the episode. It's not going to get worse, but it is going to hang out in that general area. I am not judging you. Nothing is wrong with you. A million things could be going on, but trust your gut. Dirty talk should always feel hot after you sort through the feelings of, I shouldn't like this, I don't know how they'll react, am I doing it right, are they going to expect me to actually get on a pirate ship? But when you sift through all that, there should be like this core of titillating hotness. So maybe bail for now. You can always revisit later. Or, speed read the blog version over at rhetorically.com. And then maybe you're feeling just meh. You're just legitimately not into eating ass or having your ass eaten. No shame, no shock, just not your thing. If so, hopefully I can manage to push your buttons later in the episode. But know that most of my examples are about eating booty. It's the most gender-neutral, non-threatening, anti-penetrative act I could think of while still staying in the realm of the risque, the taboo, the X-rated. You might have a different thing, though, like feet straight from a stocking, or having someone piss in your mouth. I'll dip a toe in that water just to keep it spicy, but don't let the nouns distract you. Just swap in whatever nouns do excite you. Focus on my sentence structure, my use of adjectives, and my general style of communication. I'm not going to be able to hit the right button to turn on every listener. There's like a whopping 500 of you. I don't know what you're into. Finally, you may be feeling a combination of a lot of things. A smidge taken aback, a touch curious, a bit turned on, unsure if you're turned on, but you had sensations, that's for sure. You're feeling some kind of way about that sentence. You might want me to say that sentence again. Maybe a few more like it, just to see how it feels, just to see where this is headed, if that's the case. Welcome to dirty talking, or sexy talking, or explicit talking, whatever you call it. You now know how to do it. It's all in having a really great sex vocabulary and being willing to cross, but not pole vault over, some language boundaries. Let's do a quick rundown of what made that sentence work. But this time, let me say it as if you and I were actually doing the horizontal mambo, which means switching from pirate captain to first and second person nouns for the sake of the exercise. Here's the sentence again. I want to eat cake out of your tight pink asshole while you moan and drip with pleasure. You might need to make some adjustments for adjectives. Tight and pink, always good standbys. I personally wouldn't say moan, but I'm not a beginner. And drip is a solid verb, but maybe weird for your anatomy. Still, you've got a good starter sentence with a nice combo of pushing boundaries and good old softcore sweetness. And you can turn it into a formula. Step 1. Start with, I want to. You could try other versions like, I like it when, or I've always fantasized about. You can flip it to be about your partner. I want you to. I like it when you. I have always fantasized about you. ... To get good at dirty talk, you actually have to practice making these sentences when you're not with another person, like now, listening to this in your car, hopefully without your children present. You can make them in your head during sex. You can brainstorm them in a notebook to help the awkward silence pass during Bridgerton sex scenes. More on that later, but no matter how you do it, you have to practice. Because if you don't have lots of variations and practice putting them together, you will never get to the point where they're actually coming out of your mouth in the boudoir or the living room couch or the back of your Dodge Caravan. Again, hopefully without children present. Step 2, add a verb. In this case, eat. You could also try lick, suck, smack, grind, rub, maybe caress, but do not write like you're a 19th century romance novelist. We're not doing, quote, like fondled her throbbing womanhood here. Unless that is your particular kink, otherwise, use words that regular 21st century humans use. Step 3, add your body part: asshole, mouth, feet, pussy, eyes, slit hands, cock, legs. I would exercise caution here. Not every person wants their gonads referred to as pussy, but also if that is what they want and you say vagina like you're giving them a pap smear, it's a mood killer. We'll circle back to this later. Step 4, add some very descriptive adjectives to your body part. Try pink, wet, hard, hot, and tight. No generic adjectives. No awesome, no cool. You may have the adjective amazing, but only if you mean it, as in you have such an amazing ass. And if you'd like an optional step 5, liberally sprinkle in some curse words. As you may recall from episode 7, I am a lover of the F word in particular, but I'm trying to curb the F words in this particular discussion because I'm already very terrified about what's happening on the other side of the internet right now. Okay, the formula raises some questions. How do you know if your partner likes a liberal sprinkling of F words or of anything else? A bit of banter about a lick of the booty, a touch of chatter about some tea in the A. How do you know if they want their bodacious tatas referred to as boobs or baubles or tits or breasts or fun bags? For the record, it's never the last one. You could just ask them, hey babe, what do you like me to call your boobs when we're doing it? If you aren't there yet, though, in your communication, you could try dropping the word in casual convo and see what happens. Hey babe, you've got some ketchup on your titties. If the person you're talking to doesn't want you calling their caramel love mounds titties, well, you'll know. And then you can be like, haha, JK, and file the word away under the category, do not use during sex. This is typically where the whole politically correct complication comes in. Not a phrase I will use, but that's what people call it. I'll say this, your sexy talk between yourself and a consenting partner is different than how you might casually refer to someone's body in a public setting, which, by the way, you shouldn't be doing, but sometimes it's inevitable. You need different ways of speaking for different contexts. Welcome to being an adult with a brain. For some people, sexy talk is all about breaking every rule and norm and boundary. Words they would never use in public are precisely the words they want in bed. But some people like soft, sweet, adoring, gentle words, and that is their kink, and that's great too. For example, the boyfriend in the first season of Catherine Ryan's The Duchess on Netflix. Catherine is like me, just dropping come on my tits in the same sentence as vacuum cleaner, like it ain't no thing. I bet her dirty talk game is on point. But her boyfriend, at the start anyway, is a nice dude, and he just wants to be told he's nice. That's his kink.
That's true. I had a wild first night. How's Olive?
Unrepentant and asleep. I can't. I'm on my period.
But I thought you said before real gangsters run red lights.
I was kidding.
Oh, seriously, I don't mind. Especially since we've had it for like 3 weeks.
Well, I just came in here to make out a bit and suck you off.
Okay.
Whatever, let's just have sex. My jaw really hurts.
Okay.
Actually, no, wait, stop. I'm just really distracted. I'm worried about Bev's surgery tomorrow.
Oh, can we just...
Maybe you could just finish on me.
Um...
Please, I'm really tired.
Okay.
So, like, tomorrow is just this routine procedure where they inject tumescent fluid into the fat cells to break them apart, and then they suck them out, and then they put them back just wherever you need volume, really. The last time Bev did it, they got 1.5 liters.
That's crazy. She's thin already. Hey, can we just
That's
stop?
thin because she gets lipo. Oh, we can't tell Tom, but she never said I had to keep her from you. So maybe you could pick us up, and then we wouldn't have to take a cab back.
Yeah, I've got to fit a crown after lunch, but it's pretty important in terms of restoring the function. I feel better if I moved it, so I could come after.
Or you could come now. Here. Oh my God, you cleaned up in here too? Wow, you were like so good looking and funny and nice. You're a real catch. Joe, maybe we should have sex. Good night. I'm going to my room.
That silence you heard toward the end was the boyfriend's orgasm, by the way. Although whoever wrote this scene has clearly never had someone ejaculate on their back, because you don't just lay down and roll over in it. Anyway, there's no shame in being Catherine Ryan or the boyfriend. Different strokes for different folks. All bodies are beautiful, all sex is beautiful, as long as it's consensual. But if you're not communicating with one another, then you don't know if your person is the boyfriend, or Catherine Ryan, or me, or if they're a couple of weirdos like Adam Sandler and Emma Watson from Punch Drunk Love.
I'm sorry, I forgot to shave.
Your face is so adorable. Your skin and your cheek. I want to bite it. I want to bite your cheek and chew on it. It's so fucking cute.
I'm looking at your face and I just want to smash it. I just want to fucking smash it with a sledgehammer and squeeze it. You're so pretty.
I want to chew your face and I want to scoop out your eyes and I want to eat them and chew them and suckle them.
Okay. This is funny.
Yeah.
This is nice. At the restaurant, I beat up the bathroom. I'm sorry.
If you are either unwilling or unable for some reason to just ask the person with whom you are doing the naughty tango, best to aim for middle territory. Don't aim for the hardcore stuff just because that's what you want. But also don't softcore it because you're worried about upsetting someone or it won't ever get off the ground. Medium core it. Let's look at some other medium core examples using my now patent pending formula. Example 1. Tonight I'm going, so there's your start, to slip off your stockings, verb plus fun noun, and run verb, my tongue, body part, in between your sweaty toes, body part plus adjective. See, that one did nothing for me, but I know it would do something for a foot person because the formula works. I have tested it a lot. And if I were with a foot person, I would flip it to be about them. Slip off my stockings and watch you run your tongue in between my sweaty toes, right? Let's try another one. I've always fantasized about lying underneath you while you drip a stream of warm piss right into my mouth. Hey, don't judge me, okay? I can feel you judging me right now. I'm over here trying to help you loosen up and have a hot time in the sack. If you don't want my help, go away. Otherwise, don't put your weird hang-ups on me. I don't want them. The one thing I have going for me is an utter lack of sex shame. So I'm certainly not accepting any from someone who probably hasn't even reviewed my goddamn podcast yet. And there you have it, a formula for talking dirty that can be used by anyone. Your starter phrase, plus a verb, plus a body part, plus an adjective. And you can throw in some fun verbs like cake and stockings to spice up the situation. You can also take some of the spice out by just describing what is happening in the moment. Your tongue feels so good licking my nipples. Always gets the job done. Pro tip, adjectives are really the game changer. People think it's the verb and the body part that makes dirty talk, what you're doing and where you're going to do it. But really, it's the adjectives. I love it when you lick my nipples is a solid starter sentence, but it'd get repetitive after a while, right? That's where the adjectives come in. I love it when you lick my nipples. They get so hard and pink. Adjectives, baby, adjectives. All right, now let's put it into practice. We're going to listen to the world's most boring sex scene from the Netflix series Bridgerton. Quick overview, if you haven't been watching this smut fest of awesomeness. He's a philandering young duke of hotness, and she is the sassy virgin who melted his frozen heart all the way to the altar. And they are finally, after the world's shortest engagement, hitting the sack.
What? Simon.
Do you want me to stop? Do you want me to stop? I want to show you more. Did you touch yourself? Like we talked about? Show me.
I cannot.
Tell me what you thought about when you were alone.
I thought about... Simon, I need you closer.
This may hurt a moment.
When I touch myself, I always think about you. I feel wonderful.
Solid dirty talk when he asks her, remember what we talked about you touching yourself? A+. But that's not a beginner move. That's a G move. And that only happens when you have the perfect stereotype combination of naive but sexually unrepressed virgin princess and Don Juan with a heart of gold. Normally, by the way, I'm the Don Juan here. You're not pulling off a touch yourself in front of me move as a beginner. But you can try our formula and do something like, I've always wanted you to watch me touch myself. See what kind of reception you get. Then the problem is the scene gets so awkward. It's like, hey, asshole, I'm over here touching myself, and you're just like wordlessly mouth breathing. Can you keep this action going? You know what I mean? That's where our formula comes in. So think about sentences that either one of them could have said. She could have said, for example, do you like watching me slip my fingers over my swollen clit? She wouldn't have said that because it's not in the way that her character's written, but he certainly could have said it. And when he asks, what do you want? What could she have said? What kind of prompts could he, being the more comfortable of the two, have provided? I want you is great if you're writing pure romance, but this is supposed to be smut. I need a little something extra. He could have asked, do you want me to slip a finger inside of you? Do you want me to put it in my mouth? She could have also in turn asked for those things. But that's the failure of mainstream media. No rhetorical imagination. No effort to the writing. They just perpetuate the myth that it's all about the act, that the act is the hot part. The act is not the hot part. The hot part is using your words to turn sex into total smut hotness. All right, so there you have it. If you even started to provide some fill in the blanks for Bridgerton, you are now officially graduated from Smut Your Mouth Academy. Your certificates are in the mail after you go review the podcast. But before I let you go, let me address two obstacles that may come up for you. Because let's be honest, if talking dirty were as easy as I say it is, you wouldn't need this podcast. Situation A, your partner is not receptive to dirty talk, or at least not in the way you'd like. Situation B, you know the formula, but cannot for the life of you come up with any nouns, verbs, or adjectives. The solution for both of these problems is the internet, specifically www.weshouldtryit.com. That's weshouldtryit.com. It's in the show notes. It's an online quiz about sexual fantasies that you share with your partner, and then they take the quiz by themselves away from your needy sexual fantasies, JK. The genius of the quiz is that it only returns the results that you both share. And it has a medium and advanced set of questions, so you don't have to go too crazy too soon. And it gives you the list of questions right up front, so even if you don't want to actually take the quiz with your partner, although you should, you can still look at the questions to drum up some main courses for your dirty talk buffet. In their basic vanilla category, which, by the way, is a shitty judgment that you should not internalize, you'll see that only a few questions explicitly relate to dirty talk. They are, do you want to watch porn together? Def's interested. Show partner how I like something from porn scene. Possibly, as long as it isn't Bridgerton. Be shown what partner likes from porn. Yes, if it's ethically sourced and paid for porn and not gross sex-trafficked free internet porn. Be more vocal towards partner during sex. Absolutely. Have partner be more vocal. If they know the formula. Talk dirtier to partner. Dirtier? Not sure that's possible. Have partner talk dirtier to me. Yeah, why not? Unclear how that's different from have partner be more vocal. Call partner obscene words, bitch, slut, whore. Yeah, if they're into it, would not be my preference. Be called obscene words, bitch, slut, whore, by partner. Only if they mean it in like the adorable RuPaul way, not in the demeaning burn the witch kind of way. So that's some samples, right? And unfortunately, most of these questions are about the act of sex, which is not ideal for those of us who want more dirty talking, but not necessarily more dirty doing. And the questions that are about talking, which we just previewed, present a rather exploitative and violent version of what sexy talk looks like. I don't necessarily want to be called obscene words during sex. Why is that my only option? Why can't I be called, or my partner have them call me like sexy princess names? Why can't I be adoringly complimented on my voluptuous, moist, quivering body? Why can't my partner express interest in describing in detail to me their wildest fantasies? So apparently what I'm learning here is that I need to write a dirty talk sex quiz, but I ain't got time for that. So we will use what we have. At the very least, weshouldtryit.com provides no shortage of food for fantasy thought. And most importantly, if you use it, it can open up a dialogue with your partner. Just be clear, if you're taking the quiz for fantasizing purposes, not because you're into doing the acts, you should preface by saying that. I would just tell my partner, yo, I want to do this list. But just to be clear, I'm interested in us exploring our fantasies so we can talk about them to add a racy edge to our missionary on Wednesdays and some hand stuff on the weekend sex life. Not because I necessarily want to do any of this shit. If this quiz were really good, it would have a second set of questions for each question, right? You'd evaluate the act and then you'd be like, you want to talk about it or you want to be about it? Both are fine, but it would be nice if that were clearly specified. But like the rest of this world, this quiz is bad at rhetoric, and that is why you have me. Now, what if you've got a partner who's just a no, won't take the quiz, shits on everything on the quiz, has judgments about you even wanting to take the quiz? That does not mean your quest for dirty talk is over. Although I would consider why you're with a partner who sexually shames you. But some partners just can't get there, and that's okay. Sexual repression is very, very real. Patriarchy is very, very real. And as we get older, vaginal dryness, impotence, and stress-induced fragility, I know it's a gross medical term, but it's what it's called, are also very, very real. But here's the thing about dirty talk. You don't need a partner to do it. I've been dirty talking myself for 30 minutes. You can do it right in your own head. And then it's just called sexy thinking. And you can start your sexy thinking well before you get your 12 minutes of quiet missionary on Wednesday. You can read yourself a little erotic fiction. You can replay an encounter in your head using any of the 5,899 scenarios available to you on the Sexy Stuff quiz. Don't wait around for someone else to make your sexual fantasy happen for you. You can do it right now for yourself. And in the end, that is the best sex ed I can give you. To pervert a quote that was never by Gandhi in the first place, as I discussed in episode 18. Be the sexy you want to see in the world. And remember, rhetoric nerds, that consent is sexy, but the best consent is sexy consent. Now, go review my podcast because I just said piss in my mouth publicly on the internet for you because I care enough to give my very best. Thank you so much for being an ally in the fight against cliches. Look for new episodes of Rhetorically Speaking dropping every other Tuesday. And help other rhetoric nerds find the show with a shout out on social media or, good old word of mouth.